11 is Mix Spirit for John Davies and partner. Saffie Osborne riding for Conrad Allen. Conrad, the colours here of green and white quarters for John Davies. Mixed Spirit is followed down by number 1, the best turned out, One Night Stand. There is a very pale central stripe there, but effectively they look white colours, worn by Phil Dennis for trainer Scott Dixon in the colours of Chappell and Dixon. Glory Fighter in blue with white braces and red sleeves is next for Jimmy Quinn and Paul Midgley. The Mad for Fun and Paul Williamson sharing the ownership. Number 7 is Jojo Rabbit, beige colours, brown seams. Jimmy Sullivan for Ruth Carr, colours of the trainer and Grange Park Racing. Then the horse that won this race 12 months ago, Liu, in the green colours with the mauve stars and sleeves for Trevor Gallion, with Harry Davis in the saddle this year for trainer David Evans. Next out is Moonflight, white with the large black spots, the red and black cap, a little bit of yellow on the sleeves for owner Paul Corrigan. First runner here for nearly 20 years for Linda Perrott, first since 2005. Tommy Jakes is in the saddle claiming £5. Number 4 is Looking for Linda for Dee Bardsley and Elaine Burke, trained by Carl Burke. Clifford Lee in the hoop colours of black and white. A black and white but stripes rather than hoops for number 8 Match Play for Dave Flynn and Chris Priestley. Oisin Murphy on another Paul Midgley runner. Taken to post steadily is Clear Point for PCF Racing Limited. William Carver claiming 3 for Simon Hodgson in the green colours with the yellow stars. And number 2 is Mountain Peak for Ebury Racing. Tom Marquand riding for trainer Ed Walker in the green colours with the red chevrons on the body and a red cap. 2 horses went to post early. They were numbers 5, Mondamedge for Mrs. C. Britton, Anthony Britton trains, and Cam Hardy in the grey colours with the yellow sleeves and striped cap. And the other one was number 10, Night on Earth for owner Spencer Coombs, Richard Kingscote for Ian Williams in red with the white star. So runners making their way down towards the straight 5 furlong start, downhill for best part of 4 and a bit furlongs of those, and then the climb uphill briefly towards the line, making it one of the fastest 5 furlongs in the world as the runners.
So, our first race at Epsom, the Betfred Handicap, something, well, it is a curtain raiser for the season, but can be a pointer towards the dash. And indeed, the top weight here, One Night Stand, was an excellent 5th in the dash last year. Let's start by looking at a couple of the Paul Midgley horses, Eddie. Match Play and Glory Fighter. You are inclined towards the latter as being Paul's best shot.
Yeah, I can't remember having seen Match Play in the flesh before, but I did feel Glory Fighter looked much more forward in condition. Match Play, quite a tubby, rounded sort of horse. That might just be him, but he did run as
barrelly, I have to say.
Barrelly, you preferred me when I said barrelly earlier. Okay, it's a bit barrelly Match Play. He certainly ran as though the run were needed on the all-weather first time out. His wins have been on good to soft, so the little bit of rain that's come along won't be too much of a problem for him, one wouldn't have thought. Glory Fighter was in good form when seen at Thirsk, who might have had an advantage where he was able to race on the track, but he's one of the few, if not the only one, who comes here in good form on turf.
Yes.
In fact, he is the only one who comes here in good form on turf.
With the non-retiring Jimmy Quinn on board. Now, you were crafting an argument for Mountain Peak.
Yeah, I think he has an element of class here. He's run well in big field races at Ascot several times, and he was second in the dash here a couple of years ago. I think he's gone well for Tom Marquand. Stable in really good form, and one of his first-time out runs in the last couple of years was a good one as well. So I think lots in his favour. I was surprised there wasn't a bit more money about for him, given the stable going so well. But he's the sort who can sit behind what looks like a really furious pace with horses like Clear Point, One Night Stand, Glory Fighter, Match Play possibly, Night on Earth, who's drawn very close to Mountain Peak, going to make it what seems like likely to be a furious gallop.
And draw-wise, as we look at the stalls, there tends to be an advantage on the left-hand side, the high numbers against the...
Generally, but it's not cast in stone.
No.
I'm afraid I didn't get out on the track today because it was raining heavily when I arrived. But generally, logic dictates that the higher part of the track, which is on the left as we're looking, is going to be slightly drier than down below.
But if we get a burn up on the pace.
But if you get a burn up, and the burn up is all over the fast horses are all across the track. So it should be, if you're in the wrong place, at least you'll have something to chase to try and get you back into the right place, if you know what I mean.
Looking for Linda is one of the joint favourites, and we've seen this horse once already this season when 6th at Pontefract. Looking as though he would improve for the run, but he's been capable when fresh before.
Certainly, and lots of money for him today. He did seem to handle the downhill track as a 2-year-old when 6th in the Molecombe. 6th of 8, it has to be said, at Goodwood. That was a group race, so it was a fair effort. Did have the advantage of the draw when putting in his biggest figure last year, so that was at York. He handles a big field. If that run has brought him forward, he's going to have a really good chance, but I'm not sure that you could take such a short price. Dave Nevison thinks you should.
Can we switch pictures? Eddie, looking at that market, is anything markedly different to your tissue?
Yeah, well, Mountain Peak I made favourite at about half the odds, about 6 to 1, and he's 11, so he'd have to be a bet for me. And Lihu, I think, is a little bit overpriced, but he's been drifting all day. He's 14s, bigger on exchanges. He's very well handicapped again. And
he doesn't seem to be in the same kind of form as he was this time last
year.
No,
that's true. He'd had a good all-weather season last year, but what the payback is that he's on a lower mark.
Absolutely, so, £7 lower than when last year.
The other one that was there another one? The other one I must mention is the one for Money, Night on Earth, who's got a dreadful record at this course. He's run here 3 times, run very badly all 3 times. So while I can see on form he'd have a chance, on his course form he had no chance.
He went early to post Night on Earth. We didn't get a look at him in the paddock. Ian Williams is here, Richard Kingscote on board. Been busy on the all-weather, been running extremely well on the all-weather, but the course...
He also strikes me as the sort of horse who likes to get his own way. He's very quick, but he will be challenged for the lead here early. That might be the reason he doesn't run very well here, because you tend to have lots of front runners.
Yes, absolutely. Understandably, given how quick the track is, you need that kind of horse, don't you? Clearpoint, how about him? One of his better runs last time.
Yeah, and that was just the second run for the yard, and he's shown blistering speed all winter, apart from the first run for Simon Hodgson when they probably hadn't worked out what he was all about. And he's got the draw next to the rails to go quickly early, and he nearly stayed 6 furlongs last time, so he ought to have enough left for the finish. He'd be a leading chance if he gets out and gets away on the rail.
And how about Jojo Rabbit, who ended and has begun this season on a high point?
Yes, that Wolverhampton run, nothing wrong with that. Done most of the winning and good runs round a bend, but has got form on a straight track as well. Hasn't had that many goes on a straight track recently.
OK, just looking at the loading, just so that 2 are in so far. Who else do you want to mention at this juncture?
We ought to mention Moonflight from a stable who've been in tremendous form all winter. First run on turf, that has to be a question mark. We don't really know whether the turf will suit him. And also the other thing, Sir Mark Prescott was quite happy to get rid of him. And he's now with, as I say, a stable who've done really well all winter.
Although Sir Mark Prescott always does say for good onward business, you don't want to...
No, this is true. I would absolutely adhere to that. You want them to do well in the next yard, because then they'll come back again, won't
they? Exactly. So not necessarily a pointer. 4 of them in at this point, and things seem to be proceeding OK. I mean, they're old sprinters. They're used to this kind of thing. There was nothing negative in the paddock, really, was there?
No, I do like Mixed Spirit. He's an old character. He tends to get, I don't know whether it's nerves that makes him grind his teeth, but once he starts walking down the horse walk, he starts grinding and
impatience to get on with
maybe
things?
Impatient, but it doesn't affect the way he runs, and it's just a quirk. And in the winter, I tend to stand out by the entrance to the course at Lingfield to watch them come down with their rugs off, and he's nearly always grinding. And I have a little joke with Conrad Allen about it. And he said if he wasn't grinding, you'd be worried.
Tends to be a sign of stress, doesn't he? He needs a mad guard, doesn't he?
Maybe, yeah. Dave Nevison suffered with that at one stage.
I did too. Anyway, too much information. Let's go and join our commentator here at Epsom, who is Richard Hoyles. Richard, welcome.
Lydia, I think they've had a couple of goes at Moonflight without success. Moonflight out on the far right-hand side. So Moonflight is the one that's just delaying proceedings slightly with Night on Earth. And also we've still got a empty stall for Glory Fighter to go in as well. So just a few of these taking a while. I think Moonflight might have had a few goes on the right-hand side. Now Night on Earth is playing up slightly. So still 3 left. So last 2 to go forward are Glory Fighter into stall 8 and Moonflight into stall 1. And they're off and racing. They've gone without Moonflight. Long journey not to get a run. Didn't go into the starting stalls as they make their way through the early furlong. And out in the lead, Night on Earth crosses over, showing good speed with the Defiant in blue and white, looking for Linda. And on the extreme right-hand side, Mountain Peak. Handy as well in the striped colours is Match Play, with Liu tracking the leaders as they run down the hill. Jojo Rabbit comes next from Glory Fighter. Then Mixed Spirit. One Night Stand towards the back with Mondamedge and Clear Point. They're already heading down towards halfway. Night on Earth, red and white striped colours of Match Play, and then looking for Linda. Mountain Peak come next, just ahead of the Defiant. Liu being ridden along, then Glory Fighter. Clear Point trying to stay on, looking for Linda on the outside of Night on Earth. These two as they approach the final furlong. From the Defiant, who's trying to split the pair on the run up towards the line. Night on Earth under the near rail still has the lead from looking for Linda, and Night on Earth will make every single yard. Night on Earth beat looking for Linda, the Defiant, then a bunch for the Minor Honours. Clear Point, Liu, Glory Fighter, Match Play, One Night Stand and Mountain Peak.
Well, I think it's fair to say that race didn't pan out as we were expecting. Night on Earth managed to get across to the stand side rail with a sharp start for Richard Kingscote and Ian Williams, and has won nicely this first race of Epsom's New Year. In second, it is looking for Linda for Clifford Lee and Carl Burke, and third is the Defiant for Tyler Hurd and Luke Dace, and there's gaps between the first, second, third and fourth, and then there's a big mass of horses.
Yeah, I think Clear Point was third, never got going early.
Apologies.
Yeah,
You're right.
Clear Point was third, then it was close for fourth, fifth with Mountain Peak involved. But Night on Earth dashed out of a middle stall and soon got to the rail, despite there being at least 3 or 4 you'd expect to take him on. So a manoeuvre that really worked well for Richard Kingscote, and it won him the race. He cleared everything else early on. Looking for Linda gave valiant chase. Mountain Peak rather chased from the widest stall 2, is with stall 1 a non-runner. Couldn't quite get in a challenge and weakened near the end. But here you see he was able to cross over, showing good speed, but nobody else wanted to challenge him early. And the Defiant was he just got clear of the Defiant as he crossed him. Looking for Linda was out quickly from 3 and got a good position towards the stand side, or 2 off the stands rail, and the other one showing good speed was One Night Stand, I think, that's Match Play, isn't it? And 2 off the rail, and looking for Linda 3 off the rail, and One Night Stand didn't feature early on. Nor did Clear Point, who still came home strongly, horse with a noseband, quite a long way back in the mid-division. But Night on Earth then gets in this battle with looking for Linda. I think the rail does help him. Well, not necessarily because of the ground, he's just got something to run against, and that helps him, and he pulls out extra for a decisive win. I thought he hadn't handled the track the last 3 times he's been here, but he certainly handled it today.
It's let it stand. The Defiant is third, and it's Clear Point is fourth. He came through to grab that position. The one that's had the really rough trip is Mondamedge. Everywhere he's tried to go, there's been a horse in his way. And also the Defiant tried to nose and shoulder his way through a gap when he was travelling.
Yeah, he got slightly impeded by the winner coming across him early on, and then he was definitely impeded by him late on when he was trying to come through, and cost him a little bit, but he still would have been third, I think.
Comfortable win for Night on Earth. Entirely different way that you envisaged this race.
Well, indeed, I didn't think one horse would be able to dominate in the way he did early stages, because there were so many pacey horses. But that's not the way it worked out. Glory Fighter never got going. There's another of the front runners who couldn't get going and ended up in the low.